He's taking notes.
Let's count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6.
Welcome back to the channel for March Mayhem. So, in today's matchup, we are doing number 1 ranked King Dedede from Lord Alex, taking on number 16 ranked underdog Sweet Tooth
from Twisted
Sean.
Metal Black.
Joe and I will be the impartial judges. Now, last year I did bring Sweet Tooth into the tournament. He did not do well. Do you remember who he was busting?
He was actually eliminated in match number 8 by Kirby, who went on to be one of our semifinalists, wasn't he?
Lost to the Arbiter, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Arbiter is not in this tournament, obviously.
No.
But, looking at this just on paper, you know, I am surprised Sweet Tooth is that big of an underdog. You know, we're talking about a 16 versus a 1. You know, in the tournament of the basketball variety, 16s usually don't beat number 1s.
No.
We'll see if Sweet Tooth can pull off the upset here. Joe and I are excited to see how this goes.
It's always interesting to see an underdog take on a favorite, you know?
Oh,
We're going to bust this bracket in the first
Personally,
round.
I definitely have to say that this is an interesting matchup because King Dedede is from Kirby, and Sweet Tooth was taken out by Kirby. So this is a chance for redemption for Sweet Tooth, possibly,
Bit of indirect revenge.
or to just simply prove that Kirby is the superior franchise once and for all.
Hey, we have a couple of polar opposites here, not just in lovable character versus lovable villain versus evil villain, but also fire versus snow. One's a literal penguin, the other's head is literally on fire.
True.
But he drives an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll see
where are we at
Yeah,
here,
I
you know?
I don't really know.
But,
I will
also,
say, Sweet Tooth does have the edge in polygons right now, so...
So I will point out that in this episode I am wearing a hat. This hat could change positions, it could come off entirely. Tomorrow is the Super Bowl. I have a lot of bets. This is my lucky hat. I am trying to drum up the luck now to hit those bets. So at any point, the continuity could change in these videos. Just letting you know now. So you're not surprised.
So, do we want to go over some quick rules?
Lay them out!
So, if you guys didn't watch last year, the way that this works is the person defending their character first will go through and they will give their defense as to why they feel their character would win in this matchup. After that, we would then give both judges a period to ask follow-up questions. From there, once that is done and the follow-up questions are done, we will move over to the opponent who will defend their character and go through the same process. After both have gone through the additional questions, we will leave up a rebuttal period to the judges, and at that time, we will then put it up to a vote as to which character wins. In this first round, these are straight death matches. No special stipulations, nothing like that. The only real thing that's going on here is which would win in a straight-up fight.
And last year we did try to keep things to a time limit, but for this round, we are giving them a time limit. It was kind of them getting their case out, so we can fully understand what's going on, because I'm not going to lie, I don't know who some of these people are, never played their game, so I will need to listen with my eyes, my ears, and my heart to figure out where my vote's going.
A sort of gentleman's agreement to not take all day with your argument.
Yes.
Unless we want to keep Joe here all day, then feel free to filibuster.
Oh, we'll take all day. I'll filibuster.
Excuse me while I read this phone book.
So, I guess
Number 1.
Yeah, I'll start off. King Dedede. So, for those of you who don't know, King Dedede is one of the primary antagonists as well as hero of the Kirby series. Several times he actually works together with Kirby to save Dreamland, which is the name of the planet pop star that they live on. So some things important to King Dedede is he is a king, like he's royalty. He has a huge following of loyal subjects called the Waddle Dees. So he has them at, I'm not kidding, like he can call on the Waddle Dees at any time to help. He has done so in Smash 4. One of his attacks was he actually had a bunch of Waddle Dees come to help him. They show up in other games to help him when he needs help. He does have the ability to fly and suck up air like Kirby does to, decrease his weight, increase his ability to bounce up and float up, so he can fly despite being a penguin.
Buoyancy.
Yes. He does have a super suck ability, much like Kirby. Like, the difference is he doesn't get abilities like Kirby does, but he can essentially almost bottomlessly eat. Very much in the same way he's also a girthy, beefy kind of guy, because, he eats a lot. But
His royalty tend to be.
Is royalty, yeah. The other most important part about King Dedede, though, is his primary weapon.
Ah, yes.
Is his hammer. On first glance, it's an average wooden hammer, a large,
Mallet.
comically oversized mallet-type hammer. However, it does have the capabilities. The back end opens up to reveal a rocket, so he can rocket power his hammer to do extreme damage at extreme speeds, do a lot of stuff. He also seems to be able to pull Gordos, which are spike balls that are sentient, out of his cape and hit them with the hammer to launch them at people. And these things, Gordos, canonically in their series, cannot be destroyed by anything. Kirby can't destroy them being invincible. All he can do is run through them. Like, these things cannot die, cannot be hurt. And King Dedede, being the king and villain that has access to these, he has access to these things that cannot be killed, that he uses as a weapon oftentimes, usually hitting them with his hammer towards his enemies. Yes. And from time to time, when he gets serious, he becomes masked Dedede, where he puts on a metal mask that protects him from damage from the front. So, because his belly, while being, soft and gooey, tends to repel things off of him. He doesn't take quite a lot of damage there, but his face is vulnerable, so he wears that mask. Usually, though, his downfall, and I will admit his downfall, if he spins his hammer around, he becomes a cyclone. He can't hit anything in the cyclone, but when he stops, his mask does come off, which makes him vulnerable while he's dizzy, at least for about 30 to 40 seconds while he recovers. So he does have a weakness, but it comes after an invulnerable attack. So I'm just saying, King Dedede in general, kind of a slow start, but we've also seen in some of his other games that he can run very fast. He can run as fast, if not faster, than Kirby at times, which Kirby can get abilities to go even faster. So the fact that he can fly, swim, run just as fast as a tiny, lightweight fluff ball, but still have that severe weight difference from Kirby, I think that's going to give him the benefit in this tournament, is that he's heavier. He's not going to be as easy to launch away, which was one of Kirby's main weaknesses from last tournament. So
as judge, I'm going to ask you to finish with what your thoughts are on why Dedede is suited to defeat Sweet Tooth. What gives Dedede an advantage?
Good question.
Dedede has the advantage because, number one, Sweet Tooth can't fly.
Okay.
So he can hide up in the air. And he also does have those invulnerable Gordo spikes that are just big sentient spike balls that can bounce around.
So you expect him to kind of lakitu him, just kind of drop spike
And
balls?
an idea, lakitu, yeah, I was also thinking more like a Mario Kart, like setting up mines and bombs so that, Sweet Tooth, while driving, will run into them, but instead of exploding, they simply just rip through the hull of his truck. So, that's my thoughts.
So, does he need the hammer to use the Gordos?
We've never seen him without it, so I'm going to say he does need the hammer.
Okay. Now, 30 to 40 seconds is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's only after doing that cyclone.
That's what I was thinking too.
How often is the cyclone done? Like,
It's just like a special attack.
Yeah, it's however often he wants
It's
to do
one
it.
of those, if he misses, he's kind of in trouble.
What's the range on the cyclone? It's the length of the hammer, right? Like he holds the hammer out and spins like that?
Yeah.
Can he use the Gordos with the cyclone?
We've never seen it done, so I can't say for sure.
I would have been an instant win in my mind if he could use the Gordos with the cyclone for sure.
What's the... I hope this isn't too technical a question. What's the relative size of these characters? Is Dedede just like a... Because Sweet Tooth is like approximately humanoid. DDD's not as much. Is DDD just
Taller.
like the equivalent of like a large, fat humanoid, or
Humanoid, but penguin, yeah. So the only way we have a canonical measurement to human sizes is through Smash Brothers. And
he's not enormous in Smash Brothers?
he's closer to Ganondorf size than Mario size. He's
Is he?
bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, he's bigger than an average human.
Are we taking Mario as like kind of standard human size?
A little bit shorter.
Mario's
yeah.
a little bit shorter than standard size.
Mario's about Carlos size.
Yeah, about 5'5".
So I got one more question. You said his followers are the Waddleys.
Yes.
How would King Dedede treat Miami Dolphin star wide receiver Jalen Waddle?
I mean, he is a Waddle, so I think he would treat him as both a servant but as a special servant, much like how Bandana Waddle Dee is like the highest ranking Waddle Dee in King Dedede's army. I think that would make him the highest now, just above Bandana Waddle Dee.
Just remember, though, his Waddle Dees are still his pawns.
Mm-hmm.
If
So Waddle's going down.
Oh yeah.
I have a question. If DDD was the owner of the Dolphins, would he treat this Waddle player more similar to a servant Waddle Dee, or more similar to an employee player?
This might be more important.
Probably an employee player. If
think
he's
so?
owning the Dolphins, like he's looking at it as a
I was going to say, going
Business.
into extended media, he's usually a pretty good businessman.
yeah.
His touchdown dance is a Waddle.
Yeah, that fits with King Dedede. It's fine.
Is that the end of your questions for him?
For me, it is.
For me too.
All right.
Question.
We'll now turn the discussion over to Sean
All right.
to discuss Sweet Tooth.
So specifically, this is Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal Black. Sweet Tooth is a homicidal killer named Needles Kane, who dons a clown mask. He's, taller than... He's probably about your average height. In the Twisted Metal Black games, he is specifically overweight. He wears dirty clown pants. His head is eternally aflame because he was cursed. And the most important thing of Sweet Tooth is his vehicle. Sweet Tooth drives a modified ice cream truck. This is an ice cream truck that is set up for battle. So this ice cream truck will have plating against machine gun fire, missiles,
Very standard ice cream
fire.
truck.
Just like a normal ice cream truck here in our hometown. The
Only
one
the
thing
one
that
scoop.
the one thing that is special about his vehicle, specifically in this continuity, is that his truck actually transforms into the Sweet Bot. So this truck will transform into roughly about the size of a transformer. And once it is in this, he does have his full Gatling guns, and he does have his special napalm attack, where the head of the vehicle shoots off and is a flaming attack. One of the few other items that this vehicle does have, along with the twin machine guns, is it does have various rockets, including homing missiles. So one of the things that I will say is that Sweet Tooth, even though he is a chronicled killer outside of his vehicle, he's even more deadly behind the wheel. And I do feel that whether a person is in the air or not, his homing missiles will go surface to air and will take down whatever is in front of him. And that's everything you need to know about Needles Kane, the homicidal clown.
So, in regards to his weapons, I know he also has freezing missiles, but his special attack is the actual clown head firing. I cannot remember, is that a tracking attack or not?
I can't remember offhand.
I can't remember.
I know the specials usually are tracking, but I can't confirm nor deny if it's going to be tracking or not.
But it is a one-off.
It's a special attack.
You have to build it up. And
Yeah,
then
you have to build it up. Cooldown time is...
And then is it one and done, or can he
He can do it again.
do it again?
Cooldown time for honest... I can't say. For argument's sake, I'd probably say it's closer to a minute in real life time. Because it varies. It depends if he's doing damage to people, taking damage,
Yeah, because I think you can also pick up pickups where you get the special too.
In this fight, we're kind of going in saying no pickups, so...
There are...
Final destination, no items.
Yes.
He also does have access to napalm missiles.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, they are basically like artillery strikes that he can shoot up and down. He can't aim them.
No.
You cannot aim them, but if a car is about like 50 yards in front of you and you launch it...
Imagine Molotov cocktails in any of the Grand Theft Auto games. You can use them, but you're generally going to get burned.
Yeah, it's not pretty. So like Joe asked for DDD, what do you think gives our clown prince the leg up to kill a giant fucking penguin with a hammer?
So even though he is in a giant armored, ice cream truck that turns into a transformer, one thing I will say is that for the size of this vehicle, it does have a lot of maneuverability. It has been seen to dodge other missiles, machine gun fire, so even though it is a large vehicle, it has been known to maneuver around even homing missiles. So I will say that maneuverability will be a huge gain, as well as the increased size of the vehicle. Even if we are saying that DDD is, normal person size, we all know what happens if, a person gets hit by a car. So I feel like the added, vehicle is going to be the advantage in this fight.
Tell me more about this transformer type creature that the vehicle can turn into.
So what it does is the vehicle, literally just like a transformer, transforms into an upright, humanoid-shaped, sweet tooth, and it moves around on its wheels. Basically, it's just an upright humanoid vehicle at that point, kind of like I said, like a transformer.
It doesn't have any special abilities other than just being large and strong.
Obviously, in the game, whenever you use the special, you use it to try and run over your opponents.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it does any increased damage. Generally, it's just to be upright. And I do think the speed increases, but I wouldn't say damage increases much. I was going to say, if you need to see a picture, I think I have one.
Andrew's on to something.
So refresh my...
So that's pretty much the Twisted Metal sweet spot.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
basically a robot, and I will say, like I said, increased speed, but I don't think he does any extra damage or anything when he is in that robot mode.
Okay. Can you summarize for us again the ranged attacks that Sweet Tooth has?
So it's hard to say. In the game, machine gun fire and missiles will go as far until they hit something.
Mm-hmm.
So in game, there's always obstacles, so it's hard to say how far they will specifically go, because chances are if you fire something and there's something in the way, it's going to hit it.
Yeah.
Obviously, in these games, there isn't actual physics involved with these bullets and stuff. So honestly, if there was no collision, it would just keep going.
Just straight on tangent to the surface of the Earth into the end of the universe.
Exactly. With the homing missiles, like I said, they usually pick up as long as you are close enough to someone to be in visual sight of them. So the napalm, though, I would definitely say is his most, close range attack.
Yeah.
Because it's literally just like a lob. You just throw it. So it's hard to really say how far they would go. We could use real life physics, because like I said, it's hard to say how far they would go in the game because they always hit something.
And did I hear something about he says a freeze ray or
Freezing
something?
missiles.
Freezing missile?
Freezing missiles are just like the regular missiles. If they
Except
hit it, it
they
freezes
freeze,
the
yeah.
target.
Mm-hmm.
whereas the homing missiles will lock on and will hit them as long as they don't get anything in front of them to take the hit.
Andrew, what are you thinking? Because you were doing some research on both.
So, the question in my head, which I don't think either of you could accurately answer because you're competitors, was how powerful is Dedede's hammer versus Sweet Tooth's car/robot? Because if you're driving at him to shoot him, blow him up, run him over, he could still get off a hit conceivably. Unless you freeze him.
Right.
You could freeze him. So that's what I was trying to look up. So King Dedede's...
like, so you're thinking of kind of a Falcon Punch scenario where it's
Right.
difficult to land, but if it lands, it's going to do a lot of damage.
So, from what I can read, King Dedede's hammer is actually mechanical on the inside.
Yep.
Which you may have or may not have mentioned.
I did mention because the rocket at the end.
is right.
It looks wooden on the outside.
Yeah.
When he charges it up, it is strong enough to level a building on his home planet.
Right. So if he hits, and it's one of those rocket shots, it be game over.
Now,
Regardless of whether it's a cyclone attack or not.
so I researched the clown car's armor, and in the entire game of Twisted Metal Black, the van is rated at an armor level of 8 out of 10, and the robot, once it transforms, is nearly invincible.
Oh, so the armor does increase. But it's also not something that is permanent.
Right.
It does have a cooldown.
So is where I'm thinking, Joe. Dedede has this incredibly strong hammer. Thor type hammer, we'll say. He's got Mjolnir. He's got the Gordos. Can Sweet Tooth freeze him with a freezing missile before Dedede gets a chance to do damage?
I mean, this was the line of thought that I was going down to, which is, in my mind, it feels like Sweet Tooth has the advantage, if only because he's got an advantage in ranged attacks, you know? He's got a ranged freezing ability, and he's got ranged assault abilities in missiles and, to an extent, in reach from the robot. So I'm having trouble seeing how Dedede's going to get around that. I haven't heard much about Dedede's defenses against ranged stuff.
What was that?
Well, I googled
Yeah.
King Dedede's speed, and it says he is 0.63 to 0.73 units fast.
Yep.
Units. What is the specific unit of measure?
I'm assuming that is frames like in the game. I don't know. If that is miles per hour, then he is fucking slow as hell. I could outrun that penguin.
If it's, you know,
So I'm not going to take that into consideration at all, because I cannot.
As I said in my own defense before, like
It did say he was on par with Luigi, but Luigi was also in units. So that did not help me at all either.
Yeah. So I think they were referring to Smash Brothers with that, which doesn't help because that speed is all off. Because like I said, Dedede was able to keep pace with Kirby during the Great Gourmet Race. So I'm not saying that King Dedede is for sure the winner here. My only rebuttal is, as Andrew said, if Dedede gets the hammer attack off, I think it's game over for Sweet Tooth. I do think, though, honestly, that Sweet Tooth does have that advantage of range that simply Dedede doesn't have.
So for me, in my ending rebuttal, one thing I would say is that the same arguments that we have in this one are the same arguments that we had between Kirby and Sweet Tooth.
Yep.
The one thing that I will say that Kirby had over Dedede, and that I think was the true deal breaker when it came to Kirby winning last time, is when he absorbs any of these attacks, he gets power-ups from it.
Yeah.
Whereas Dedede, even if he were to eat any of these attacks, he doesn't gain any advantage.
Yeah.
I have a follow-up question on that, which is, can Dedede defeat the ranged attacks by sucking them up and neutralizing them, even if he doesn't gain anything to throw back.
Does he take any damage?
In theory,
Yeah, does he take damage doing that? Like if Sweet Tooth launches some missiles at him, can DDD just kind of suck them all up and eat them and just keep going?
so in what we've seen of King Dedede eating things, like much like Kirby, if it's something explosive and he eats it, he's stunned for a second, but he bounces back. But stunned for a second versus
actually getting a power up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we said, the whole reason for the mask is a defensive thing because his face is his weakness.
Yeah.
If he's stunned for an instant, say he eats one machine gun bullet while more hit him in the face, like, I don't know. That's for the judges to decide.
Yes.
Yeah, we can start voting on this joke because I have no clue.
Yeah. I mean, I have a general direction I want to. I think
Let me hear your direction and your rationale.
My direction is Hail the Cat.
Scooby, who wins?
He said,
I was hoping
I'm
you'd
walking
go
over
with
this
that.
way. Oh man. Scooby's giving his
No,
vote.
he did not let us pet him though.
He was giving his vote to Dedede.
He did you, Joe. Oh,
My
might have swerved.
thought is, from the discussion we've been having, it sounds like Sweet Tooth has a distinct advantage in ranged attacks that DDD doesn't seem to have a really effective counter or defense for. Sweet Tooth has homing missiles. It sounds like they're just going to seek DDD out, and if they hit DDD, so it's going to be difficult for him to dodge them. He's also got freezing missiles that can freeze DDD in place. So it doesn't seem like DDD's speed is going to be a great counter to this. If the missiles get to him, he doesn't seem like he has a great defense against them. He can suck them up and maybe not, be permanently injured, but then he's stunned for a moment. That leaves Sweet Tooth time to close the gap and really deliver a finishing blow. Kind of the only advantage that DDD seems to have is he's got the one and done hammer, whereas if he can land a hit on Sweet Tooth, he's I would argue he's more likely to win in a melee only competition. That's something that in a real fight I would love to see as like an actual upset win. Is oh wow he did it, but for the purposes of this, my idea is it goes to Sweet Tooth just based on range.
makes a lot of sense, and I'm certainly in that way too.
I mean, please tell me if I'm wrong. If there's a perspective.
The thing I was searching for the speeds and the strength was to see if DDD could close the gap, because even if Sweet Tooth just heists it in reverse, he can keep enough distance to pepper him until he dies.
But if DDD's really fast, he can maybe dodge stuff and close the gap and then just deliver a one and done and it's over. So
unit.
yeah, the D.
You know what? One of the problems is we don't know how fast Kirby or DDD is compared to a car.
Right.
There's not a canonical answer to that.
Can we compare using Smash numbers to someone who's approximately similar to Sweet Tooth?
No, because we just found out Smash is measured in units, but we don't know what the fuck the units are.
I know, but like, say we can assume Sweet
How
Tooth.
fast does Captain Falco's F-Zero go?
That's the problem. Is there's too many variables with that one. Like there's not a comparable individual.
So in my mind,
I will say that when they get hit by cars in the F-Zero match, they do get a ton of damage.
so I did find 3 YouTube videos: Speed of Curb 2.0, Speed of Curb 10.0.
I'm sorry.
It looks
what?
like it's actually just animated pictures.
Yeah. This is a coin flip for me, because either one could win in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing,
Surprisingly competitive.
what helps Sweet Tooth immensely, if he gets into his robot, all of his attacks are homing attacks.
This is true.
So every
Sweet
rocket
Tooth-
he fires is a homing rocket.
Sweet Tooth outside the robot is a different story.
Yeah.
Because he's pure outside the robot. He's pure melee.
Mm-hmm.
I think I gotta give it to Sweet Tooth on my vote because of the robot.
Yeah, I would agree with it.
I don't like it
with
at
the
all.
robot, it's very much towards Sweet Tooth. Without, it's very much towards DDD.
And the fact his car can turn into said robot.
Yeah.
Because it can fire a freezing missile, freeze Dedede, and he's robot, and he's just got like 6 homing missiles that can fire at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it to Sweet Tooth.
But we
I
got
don't. I want to vote for Dedede, but
I mean, one final question is:
if Smash Brothers wasn't in units, Dedede would have won my vote. Nintendo, you did this. You did this. Fix your speed. If you tell me he can move at 30 miles an hour, no fucking problem. He's gonna win this match. But no, they're gonna be like he can move at 0.73 units. I don't know what that fucking is. I can move that fast, I guess.
I mean, if we really want to, I'm sure we could dig into
I don't know. We don't know. Jesus.
What? Sean, I have a question. What does it take for Sweet Tooth to get into the robot? Is it fairly accessible, or kind of like a reward for a certain amount of melee success?
So just like the cyclone that we said in this one, it is his special attack. So it's one of those where I believe it just builds up after time. I mean, it builds up faster if he's doing damage or if he's, getting kills. But I believe.
But it neutrally goes up.
Yeah.
So he's not going to have access to it at the start of the fight.
Not at the start.
Not at the start.
But the longer the match goes on.
Right. But also
The machine gun does help build it up, though, even just
Okay.
peppering the machine guns.
I don't know, man. This is almost going to change my vote because
Hold on. We're gonna figure something out for me.
The laughing ghost.
While you look that up, like my thought process I'm going down is just if Sweet Tooth can't access the robot immediately, if he has to land some hits on DD, or if he has to, drag the match out for a little bit before he can access it, then I feel like DD is heavily favored in a pure melee contest.
Well, he's still in the truck.
Oh, he's still in the truck. He just
Yeah.
can't transform
Whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa.
He's driving in it the whole time.
Alright.
That's
So is what I was looking up is
Is
how
how-
fast the robot transforms.
It's instantaneous.
It's like
Oh shit.
that's like half a second.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I gotta give it to Sweet Tooth.
I think so. I don't want to.
But this is why we do this.
I
To
wanted
find
the
upsets.
penguins.
this is why you guys come and watch this. Is like we get deep into this. So
Officially, the number 16 Sweet Tooth has upset
DDD.
in a close fight. In a close fight. It was not a blowout like a certain fight between 7 and 10 will be.
I will say that does mean that you can continue with your Sweet Tooth TV show. That will be really confusing if you call it Sweet Tooth.
But Kirby, sorry, King DDD's out. Oh wait, no, that's only for the last.
Oh yeah, that's just for the people that have been previously,
Yeah.
eliminated.
Okay, good. All of a sudden I was like, yeah, fuck you, DDD. Oh wait, no, that's other stuff. All right.
So, folks, thank you.
Join us next time where we're going to be doing another redemption. We're going to be looking at the returning Samus versus the returning Doom guy. We may finally be doing away with these Doom movies. Hopefully. Join us next time to find out, guys.
Scoob! Scooby!